How can we evaluate charged phenomena? All right, that is the question for today. That is number 87 on the list of the 144 fractal faculties of the Tree of Life. If you'd like to get a quick refresher course or an introduction to the Tree of Life, just watch my video called Tree of Life, a short introduction, or also Tree of Life, an introduction, which is even shorter, about 10 minutes. And that will get you up to speed enough so that you are able to follow along with all 144 of these videos. Also, if you'd like to get a listing of all 144 of those fractal faculties in abstract form, just click the link in the description. I will send that out to you for free. Okay, now today we're looking at number 87. And here is the Tree of Life. This is more or less a map of our consciousness, certainly in this context. And each one of these circles or spheres, all 12 of them, the 10 numbered spheres plus the abyss here and plus the 0 above the tree, all 12 of these are different aspects of our consciousness or different faculties of our consciousness. And for today, we're focused in the abyss. And the abyss corresponds to really our psychic powers. And our psychic powers break down into our psychic receptivity and our psychic heat. The psychic powers have to do primarily with omens, synchronicities, coincidences, anomalies, things of that nature, things that are very, difficult to explain just through coincidence. And this is the language that the higher self, the universe, is trying to explain to us that something important is going on that we should be paying attention to. So our psychic receptivity is really our ability to recognize that omen, not dismiss it as being just a coincidence or weird or something like that, but to actually look into it that this is important. And then the second part is our psychic heat, which is our ability to actually act upon the omen. Usually the omen not only reveals itself as being anomalous, but also gives us creates a path or a course of action to take, to follow up. So our psychic heat is really our ability to follow up upon recognizing the omen. Now, physically, the psychic powers generally correspond to magnetic charges. If there is a magnetic charge, once we step into that field of that magnetic charge, that's when we are alerted to the omen. And then, our ability to act upon it depends on what our disposition is according to, magnetic charges. For example, a paramagnet is something that a ferromagnet and a paramagnet are both very responsive to omens, whereas a diamagnet is more or less averse to omens and goes away from them. Okay, now the abyss is one of our 12 faculties of the Tree of Life. But we're talking about the 144 fractal faculties of the Tree of Life. So to get from 12 to 144, we have to go to the second power. 12 times 12 is 144. So what we're basically doing is we're taking the whole tree, all 12 aspects, and we're shrinking it down to a small size so that it fits upon each one of the 12 faculties. So we're breaking down the 10th sphere into its 12 parts, breaking down the 9th sphere into its 12 parts, and so on, until we get to this abyss here. We're breaking down the abyss into its 12 parts. So there's a mini 10th sphere inside the abyss. There's a mini 9th sphere inside the abyss. There's a mini 8th sphere inside the abyss, and so on. Today, number 87, we're really looking at the mini 8th sphere inside the abyss. Okay, so we take a gander at the 8th sphere, and you may remember that the 8th sphere corresponds to the consensus worldview. It corresponds to what we've been told, what we're being told by the experts, the expert opinion and the consensus worldview. And this is what we get when we venture out of the home when we're very young, and we start going to school, we start going to church, and we start hearing from all the experts that are out there that are telling us, this is how it is, this is what you're supposed to believe, this is how you're supposed to act, and all of those different things. Unfortunately, what we're getting here is not always the truth. It can be, but it might not be, because the 8th sphere is somewhat of a trickster. Okay, so those are all the various aspects that, or at least some of the aspects that fit in here at the 8th sphere. So what we're dealing with number 87 is we're dealing with that mini aspect within the whole context of the abyss, within the whole context of the psychic powers. And so number 87 is called Poles and Fields. Stage number 87 is about the physical manifestation of the magnetic motions. No matter how finely divided, there are always north and south magnetic poles of a material. And the magnetic field is a shield that aligns from north to south on a multitude of rotating toroidal loops. North and south poles. There are two magnetic charges, and the second magnetic charge divides the atom into two, creating poles. And the magnetic charges are two-dimensional. So two-dimensional magnetic charges, and one of them is novelty, one of them is smoothing. So the novelty comes in first, then the smoothing comes in, and once we have the smoothing, that divides the atom into two, creating a north and south pole. Poles are centers of magnetic effects. Magnetic poles can be reduced to single points with lines of flux running from north to south, just as electric lines of force run from positive to negative. But a field is not real. It is merely a mathematical consequence of the inability of our conventional reference system to represent scalar or non-directional motion in its true character. Fields are the crystal structure from the cosmic sector. This is really having to do with more electric fields, the faces and the edges of polyhedra in equivalent space. We cannot see fields, electric or magnetic, but we can see their effects. Fields are how time changes space. All fields are equivalent space, meaning that they're in time, but we see them in space because we cannot see time, we only see space. Fields, and so we see what we see in time is represented in equivalent space as the inverse of what's going on in time. So if something is exploding in time, we see it as imploding in space. Fields are how time changes space. The field of a magnetic charge is defined in terms of the force experienced by a test magnet. So the field of a pole is radial, while the field of an electric current carrying wire circles the wire instead of extending out radially. The force on the test magnet is perpendicular to both the magnetic field and the electric current flow. If the field lines and the wire are parallel, then the electromagnetism becomes unobservable. A natural magnetic field is like rowing a boat from north to south around the tube. There is an oscillating motion of the oars, but the boat moves in a straight line. An electromagnetic field is like a tornado hitting the boat, a vortex function, like whereas the electrostatic field emanates just like a splash in a pond, where the pulse waves are rocking the boat of anything in the way. A magnetic field can be represented by a torus, a 3 or even 4-dimensional standing wave. Okay, that is the 8th fractal of the abyss. Number 87, poles and fields. And we will be talking more about that. Most of this is originating with Dr. Bruce Perret, the late Dr. Bruce Perret, who did the re-evaluation of the reciprocal system of theory from Dewey B. Larson. So this is mainly coming from either the reciprocal system 1 or the reciprocal system 2. And we will be embarking on a whole course of talking about the reciprocal systems here coming up soon, just as soon as we kind of get done here with these 144 fractal faculties. So keep this all in the back of your mind, and it will serve you in the future on this channel. Okay, well, thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. You can again click the link in the description to get my free copy of the 144 fractal faculties of the Tree of Life. And you can also donate to me directly through Cash App and Venmo, listed in the description. Stay tuned for future videos on this channel. Number 88 will be rolling out right quick, and other videos are in the offing. We will be accelerating on this channel here soon, and starting to get into a lot of material. The Tree of Life is really the foundation for that. Once we kind of have a fluency with the Tree of Life, then all of the other stuff can kind of fall into place. There's a place to put it. The Tree of Life is really a mnemonic device that helps you not only for its own sake, but it helps you to learn other subjects. Okay, so that's why we're trying to put in this foundation first. Okay, well, have a great day, and we will see you in the very near future.